Good morning, friends. I'm Bharat, and I'm supposed to speak on and help you make a decision on building mobile apps. The presentation ready? I think it's spelled wrongly, so don't worry about it. The O will go in between. So basically, mobile is the future of digital. We all know about it. But do we really need a mobile app? Well, there are more than 2 million apps in the stores. And as I am speaking, somebody is downloading and somebody is uninstalling apps. So about 20% of apps gets uninstalled within the first 15 minutes of download, and about 80% within the first 72 hours of download. So you have really spent a lot of time and money to build an app, and in 72 hours, a user can be lost. So what I'm trying to bring upon is that building a mobile app really needs a lot of thoughtful insight rather than just riding the trend. Let me share a couple of case studies with you. So in the first case, we had a financially advisory organization. They were mostly into HNI portfolio management, and all they had was very rich content. So they used to specialize in making research reports, and they used to publish around 25 to 30 new articles every day. And then they came to us and said, we are very sure we need a mobile app. Even we were really thinking whether such an app will be successful or not. But they were very sure that they want to spend time in actually building the solution and then implementing the solution. In the second case, we had a fashion e-commerce website. So they had a very, very successful website and a mobile web with over 1,000 transactions a day. And they were sure that if they can just replicate that experience in a mobile app, their business will just sizzle. So they came to us and told that we just want a mobile app in 15 days, 20 days. We are very hard pressed for time and we just want to go ahead. So a question to you. Whom do you think was more successful with their mobile app strategy? The financially advisory organization who was just into content distribution, or the fashion e-commerce? Any guesses? Okay, hold your thoughts. Now let's go to the implementation and we'll see whether your thought really matches with the actual. So in the first case, the financially advisory company was very well planned. So they started spending a lot of time in the conceptualization. The major stress was actually using the device capabilities when building a mobile app. So they actually stressed on offline content, they had analytic tools, and they just wanted to answer one thing. I have 25 to 30 content, but my user is not interested in reading all the areas. He just wants 1 or 2 areas. Can I reach out to him specifically through a device by knowing his preference? Even after the app was built, they were in no hurry to launch in the market. They got hold of some beta users, tested the app, and refined the app. Then, even with the release, they were very, very limited. So they had a very meager ad spending, and all they were stressing is getting very, very positive reviews from the customers. So somebody was really scanning the app market, and they were just ensuring that all user reviews were properly understood, reviewed, and answered. So slowly they started understanding the user behavior. Even the push notifications going to the user were very, very targeted, and they could taste success. They went into the other platforms only after the initial success. So the result, 70% of the downloads of their app was just through referrals, no ad budget. And this is a staggering information. Only 10% of the apps got uninstalled within first 8 weeks. This is a great achievement for any business. And on an average, users were spending around 15 to 30 minutes daily on their apps. Now the fashion e-commerce company, as I told you, they were in a big hurry to hit the market. So they were overconfident about their designs and the experience they were having on the web. They did not think much about the device experience, what users can have, and they just went ahead with the launch. During launch also, they had a massive advertisement budget, and of course, with that kind of a budget, they also achieved the number of downloads. But eventually, the results were not so good because users started giving negative reviews and users started uninstalling the app. So for them, 70% of the users uninstalled the app within first 10 days. 90% of the downloads were just via paid advertisements, negligible referral downloads. And negative reviews ultimately started hurting their main business. So the point which I am trying to make is that we just cannot ride the trend in today's market. A sector-wise fitment and just following the trend will not help you building the app. So now the question is, how do I really make the decision? Well, let me share a small assessment exercise with you, and maybe after this exercise, you will be in a better position to decide whether you are ready for the mobile app or not. So first question, are you creating any value for your user? Not for yourself, but for your user. Remember, you will download and keep the app in your mobile only if you see a value. The real thing is to answer whether the user will retain your app in his mobile device or not. To help this answer, you can probably categorize your app idea in 3 main categories. If you have got a gaming app or an out-of-box utility which you are very sure and confident about, well, just go ahead. So this answer is yes for you. In case if you have a transactional or an informational app, transactional means maybe an e-commerce or maybe an app where you are just taking data, an income and expenses app or anything like that, you need to really work upon the UX and how the user's journey is going to be totally monitored and improved. That is the real question you need to answer and convince yourself that by my app, the user is really going to be helped. The second question, which is an extension of the first one, why an app and not a mobile app? So are you using the device functionalities? If you are going to the user's device, you need to ensure that your app is using device functionalities. It has to use offline content. One app which immediately comes to my mind is Hotstar. So there are so many apps which is beaming the TV channels into your app, into a mobile phone. But I think Hotstar does it fabulously well. What they have done is they have used the device capabilities in streaming the media content in the most effective manner. So even if you are on an Airtel network, the Airtel Live TV will not work as good as a Hotstar because Hotstar has really thought about how to use the device functionalities. Push notifications, offline data, content alerts, all these are the things which is going to help the user. So again, you have to keep on answering whether you have really thought about this question and convinced yourself with a yes or not. Third question, have you done a very detailed competitive study? So by detailed competitive study, I have put on some points. How many similar apps are there in the market? How have you reviewed them? Have you seen the user journey? Which of the apps are successful? Which are not successful? If somebody is not successful, then why are they not successful? Have you reviewed their reviews in the market? And do you see that there is something missing in them which can be a value add from your end? The next question, and one of the most important questions, have you allocated a sufficient budget and timeline for the app? So generally, how do we allocate a budget? We just go to a development agency and ask them, How much is it going to cost you for developing the app? We add a 20% buffer to it, and that's your budget. Well, my friends, that's where we are going wrong. For an app, the budget means a timeline and effort for detailed scoping, development, then ongoing support. So you are dealing with a device which gets regularly updated. Android systems gets regularly updated. There are some guidelines which has to be followed. So there has to be ongoing support. The data updates, the content has to be regularly pushed upon. And very importantly, the infrastructure. So app cannot function without a proper infrastructure. You need cloud or a data center to provide regular content, and it has to be 24/7. And then a bit of ad spend. You just cannot go into the market with so many apps and make your presence felt without an advertisement strategy. Never rush towards an idea. Take time, because by rushing in a new technology in a market where there's so much of competition, the chances of failure increases. Then develop a minimal viable product first, and then go in various phases. So do not just go all out with your end-to-end strategy. Have you ensured that your app is going to be likable to users? So once you have downloaded the app, is the experience going to be likable? Is your user really going to retain and keep using the app? So what are the things which can actually irrate the users? If you have too many notifications, if the batteries of my mobile get drained through your app because your app is running in the background and continuously taking some kind of a data, there are too many functions in the app and it is a very confused interface. The loading wheel, we call it a real curse, because if somebody goes to a content and if the content is not displayed and if the user has to really wait for even 10 seconds, he becomes irritated. Definitely he will not like to use that app. And obviously bad designs. When I say bad designs, it's all about the user experience. How seamlessly the user can navigate through your entire concept without getting stuck anywhere. Next, as an owner, you need to have some basic ideas about the app technologies. Some questions. What is a hybrid app or a native app? You need to know the basics, maybe not in depth, but when you are making a decision, you need to know what does hybrid stand for and what does native stands for. What platforms are you going to target? What device operating systems? What kind of devices are going to use your app? Is it going to be for high-end users? Is it going to be for low-end users? If you are streaming a video, what is the minimum expectation from a device? What is the resolution you are targeting? And definitely, that leads you to the backend and the infra requirements. So you need to also understand that your app is going to continuously need the data feeds. You need to have a system to feed the data. You need to have a system to relay the data. Lastly, you need to identify a team for scoping, launch, analysis, and upkeep. Do not just go ahead for app building without identifying a proper team. So, a development partner is just going to help you with the development. But ultimately, it is your team who is going to send the updates, who is going to keep on monitoring, reviewing, and updating the app according to the user preference. That is not something a development company is going to do for you. So you need to have a team which is going to be minimum attached for 6 months from the app launch, and they have to be involved from the initial stages. If they get involved in the later stages, they will not grasp the entire concept. So these are the few points which I have given as a exercise. And if you get 5 yeses of all these 7 answers, you should straight away go for the app. You are right there. Just find a development partner and go ahead. If you score between 3 and 5, well, you need to convert your negatives into positive first and then only go ahead with the app. So don't rush. It's highly, like the chances are very high of your failure. Less than 3, I'll not personally recommend for you to go ahead with the app. Probably you do not need an app. You need to reevaluate the idea. So that is what I really wanted to share with you. For any other questions, etc., definitely we are there to guide you. Thank you.